I think she was wasted.
There we go.
Okay, all right, folks. Well, welcome this evening, and I'm going to call the meeting to order. And would you like to join us in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag? I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hey, Mary, roll call.
Olson. Here. Collins.
Here.
Johnson. Here. Kellum.
Here.
Kupczynski.
Here.
Coburn.
Here.
Okay, and it's nice to know we got through elections, and we're going to have the same seats up here for the next couple years, so congratulations, everyone. But, yep, so it's going to be, glad we got through that. But, okay, first scheduled business is business from the public, and is there anyone? I think somebody in the back wanted to come forward. Yes, sir. So if you come to the podium, and if you can kind of state your name and spell your last name and furnish your address, we'd appreciate that. Is there a chair there for you? Okay. Thank you.
My name is Robert Gilbert. I live at 1802 48th Avenue here in Albany. And what else was I supposed to say?
I think we know the last name. It's an easy one. Just spell it if it's...
Oh, Gilbert.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
And basically I have a letter with my little 2 cents here. So I'll just read it. At this hour, much attention is focused on the taxation of marijuana, which became legal in the state as of yesterday night. Another recent topic was the taxation of property drainage. I heard about that in the last couple months. Both taxes have something in common. They are dealing with the impact of these activities, drug use, and land development that these activities have in the community. I would like to bring your attention to a third impact that needs to be taxed: social pollution. I'm sure you are aware of the 2 small crosses that sit at the entrance to the Staples parking lot here in Albany. They are the direct result of a young mother who thought it would be a good idea to drag race while drunk. You may also be aware of the skid marks that, until this last rain, stood out stark against the pavement on Highway 20, where a drug addict took the life of an innocent motorist. He, too, thought it would be a good idea to drive while under the influence of intoxicants. Both these tragedies were caused in part by the abuse of controlled substances. However, that is not the whole story. Both of these crimes were eerily similar in imitation to acts of lawlessness performed by protagonists in movies that the public were exposed to en masse through the Albany movie theaters. It could just as easily be argued that these crimes were caused by bad ideas made to look good. You may not be aware of all the various types of bad ideas dumped into our community under the guise of free expression, but the Albany Police, Fire, and Hospital have seen more than their share of the ugly side of these ideas. From the heroic depiction of Cesar Millan answering his cell phone while driving, which is not legal in Oregon, to the blatant propaganda depicting a woman who becomes smart enough to justify murder after overdosing on narcotics, all in the name of good and evil, and my personal least favorite, eroticized violence against women. After all, there is no such thing as a murder in the entertainment industry that is not meant to be entertaining. Were these toxins being released into our rivers and streams, the industry would be fined and possibly shut down. Yet we allow it into our city because the consumer wants more of it, and if we, the citizens, do not pay for it with our own life and limb, we pay for the inevitable flare-up with our taxes. This letter is meant to open the discussion regarding what Hollywood and the video game industry call free speech, but is in fact social pollution. Bad ideas, when poured into the intellectual watershed, have always caused outbreaks of social disease and health hazards within our society. The discussions regarding this impact stem from as far back as the 1950s, yet nothing has been done to curb this problem. The television and rating system that we use today, offered by the very industry that dumps these pollutants into the minds of our posterity, is frighteningly ineffective at curbing the diseases of violence, lawlessness, and reckless sexuality that our community suffers from. I am sure you have heard the old health and safety clause cited multiple times in recent weeks when dealing with these 2 other impact taxes. I ask you to apply the same reverence to health and safety when considering a tax against movies, video games, television, internet, and radio. Thank you. That's my 2 cents.
All right. Very interesting, Robert. So if you'd ever like to have further conversation over it, I'd be glad to meet with you and, get some ideas. But
Okay.
Yeah, okay, all right, thank you. Okay, anyone else from business from the public? Okay, not seeing any. In council, we have a second reading of an ordinance. This is on page 2.
An ordinance amending ordinance number 5833 to include sales of marijuana and marijuana-infused products within the locational restrictions applicable to medical marijuana dispensaries and declaring an emergency.
Okay,
Move adoption of the ordinance. Second.
all right.
Third.
Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, motion carried.
Mayor Knope,
Yep,
just
uh-huh.
if I could clarify, I think there's a lot of confusion around Measure 91, which will make recreational use of marijuana legal in the state, but that will not take effect until July of this next year. I've been hearing a lot of, sort of anecdotal information that people think it's now legal to do it like within 30 days, and that's not the case with this particular law. Additionally, the rules stipulating how it can be sold, what some of the conditions and so forth are, that's been sort of delegated to the OLCC, and so we don't know, kind of what the impact might be in our community at this time. The ordinance that you've just passed, of course, restricts placement of facilities. And the other unknown at this point is the possibility that any form of taxation that the city has imposed will be upheld or be authorized. Of course, I think as Jim and I have both expressed, we don't think there's much likelihood that those taxes will be allowed under the new rules that come down from the state. So just wanted to clarify for people who might wonder, what's going on and what the city is doing. And really, as far as I've looked at it at the initiative, and I'm not sure there's much we really can do at this stage other than just wait to see what the rules look like.
So we did, pass the resolution, an ordinance on that tax. So you'll kind of let us know, update us if you think we need to, rescind that ordinance if it doesn't look like it's going to be we could legally do a tax.
I'm sure that both the League of Oregon Cities and, other
They'll come back.
other organizations will be, looking at that issue and so.
Okay, all right. Yeah, so Bessie and then Ray.
Wes or Jim, I guess, on the news today, of course, of all the information that's out there, one of the questions from one of the cities, and I can't remember which one it was how many, if we can regulate how many retail stores that sell it. We don't have a business license, and this is one time when, I'm sorry we don't, because so that we could keep track of things like that. But I just wondered, do you know anything, if there's, at this time, if there's any way that we can regulate how many there are?
I think it's going to be analogous
be?
to state regulation of OLCC stores. I think the state is going to assume the regulatory right and responsibility, and I don't think it's going to be up to cities. Cities are given an opportunity to have input to the OLCC on restaurants and bars serving alcohol, but we don't have the final say on whether or not they are authorized or licensed. We don't have authority, for example, to say only 2 bars can be located in Albany, even though they are selling recreational intoxicants. And so I would imagine, I do not know yet because the rules have not been promulgated, but it appears to me it will probably be very similar to that.
Ray?
Okay, as I understand it, Wes, the July 1st, 2015 is when it would be permissible for individuals in their homes to grow, et cetera, et cetera. Retail establishments won't be allowed until 2016 when the OLCC comes down with the rules and regulations.
Exactly, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. That's good to know. Okay, questions? All right. Next on the agenda is adoption of the consent calendar. And there's just a few items there, so if there's no items needing to be pulled off for discussion, I'll entertain a motion.
Move adoption of the consent calendar.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, motion carried. And next, business from the council. So Bessie, anything?
No, not really, other than, to congratulate everyone who won, and I think it speaks volumes that we have the same members of the council, that people, I think, believe that we're going in the right direction, that we're trying the best we can. I mean, I don't think anybody's got their own agenda or anything, and so I really appreciate the voters not believing all of the negativity that was gone on, and that we try the best we can, and that's all we can do. That's right, and I know we all have the best interest of the city in our hearts, and so that's all I want to say.
Not tonight, thank you.
Dick?
Good to, well, I guess not back, but good to be staying on.
Yes. Yeah, so, and we appreciate, you really worked hard for your campaign, so.
Well, like I
Commend you.
told my kids, I'm like my late Uncle Charles, that my legs are now like iron bars.
Yeah. I can imagine. It's wonderful, but yeah.
Uncle Charles did a late stab in life at fitness. He had a nice big pot belly, and I wish I could demonstrate what he could do.
It might not be legal, Dick.
I can't do it, so I won't.
Thank you.
He said, I'm getting in shape, and when I smoke, it was kind of like Bill Clinton. He said, I don't dare, because he stands up and he inhales, and his pants fall off.
We don't want you to demonstrate.
Like I said, they're lost against
Okay, anything else? Okay, Rich?
I have one. I got a phone call from CenturyLink telling me how wonderful their program, their new program was, and being a little skeptical, I listened, and, well, yeah, it sounded good. I got a hold of Comcast and said, gee, you have some competition, and I was told basically, well, too bad. So I put in motion the things to switch, and I switched from Comcast to CenturyLink for, I don't know, $40 cheaper a month and faster internet speed and so forth. And the phones were ported over, and CenturyLink hooks up, and then I get a bill in the mail from Comcast for the regular monthly fee that they had done in the past, and then I call them and say, hey, guys, I quit back in, you guys were told yada, yada, yada. And they said, oh, well, no, you can't do that. Excuse me, I called, I let you know. CenturyLink called and, filled out the forms. Well, they filled out the forms for the phone, but not for the internet. So what do I have to, well, what, you need me to, okay, I want to quit. Well, no, you have to give it to us in writing. Okay. Email, what? Well, no, we have a special form that they will send you. And then they try to get you back. And I said, no, I'm not switching back. I've done this. What's the form? Well, I give them the information. They're supposed to send the form, and then they will charge me for 2 months when it's done. Now, you folks know me well enough to know I don't take abuse worth a damn. And so I object. They don't send the form. Now, I can imagine one of your grandparents at this point needing to switch, needing to do something, and being treated like this. I mean, I could see my grandmother when she was 80 or 90 years old trying to deal with this. I understand that we don't have a lot of choices as a city, but I guess what I am saying is we need to make sure that our constituents are protected from abuse. I mean, if you sign a contract, you sign a contract, live up to it. If, on the other hand, they demand that you use their form and then they don't send it to you, as far as I'm concerned, that's abuse. I don't know legally if it is or not. What I would ask is if we feel, this body feels that that is in fact abuse, that we direct staff to check into it, how it can be checked into. I'm not going to tell you I know that. I do know I'm not going to be paying the bill. And if they don't like it, well, they can take me to court and I will deal with whatever I have to do. I mean, there's a difference between just rolling over and letting somebody do stuff to you and standing up.
We used to have years back was I can't remember, it's like a cable TV commission. And it was sort of, I think the state set it up that you had to have these. So when there was kind of disputed type issues amongst citizens, you had this commission to review it. Well, the commission never really got together. It was never really convened. And we used to keep it a part of our budget. And it was always sort of up on the plate each budget season whether we should be, continue to funding it. And then it just totally went away on that. But it was a commission that really never had much duties.
I don't know if Albany was a member of, there was a regional cable commission that was run by the Lane Council of Governments that had membership from around the whole region, and it was formed in response to problems that resulted after cable was deregulated back in about 1980. And the problem, at the time, that agency was pretty active in trying to get the cable companies to voluntarily agree using the force of a lot of different consumer areas, basically. And they had some success, but I don't think they've been active since the late 1980s, maybe early 1990s is my recollection. The reality is, in terms of legal authority over how cable companies do business, is not something that we really have much anymore. Now, it doesn't mean we can't do anything. We can certainly call, Comcast is very diligent about, they pay us for use of the public right-of-way, just like the electric utility does and the garbage company and so on. So we have that agreement, but that doesn't give us much ability to get into their quality of service issues. However, we can certainly contact a Comcast representative, let them know that we're getting some complaints about this kind of practice. And although Jim is making faces.
There's a caution. If you use Councilor Kellum's facts for the basis, Councilor Kellum may subject himself to an ethics violation because he'll be using public resources in his own controversy.
I'm going to take care of my own way. I have heard from city staff that this is common.
Okay.
My next door neighbor spoke of his mother having a problem. That same neighbor having one of his tenants in another part of his complex having a problem with this same company.
I'm not trying to defend Comcast. I'm trying to carve
Keep
out
me
and
out of trouble, and I
recognize
appreciate that.
what is the city role. For example, let's suppose that a local automotive shop overcharges a customer. Let's suppose that they use used parts instead of new parts without telling the customer. Let's suppose that the newspaper isn't delivered on a regular basis, but we still get charged. I mean, what I'm trying to get at is that the city does not have a general role in protecting the public from private, civil, or contractual violations. There is an unlawful Trade Practices Act, which allows people to sue businesses and commercial ventures and receive attorney's fees, as well as gives them minimum damages, like several $100 damages, even if they can't prove actual damages. That is an intended mechanism to allow people to sort of level the playing field with big companies that abuse them. But if you start down the role of having, I mean, the city really has no more authority to address Comcast abuses, if they occur, than they do to address any other commercial abuse that takes place in the city, except to the extent that it is a violation of the franchise. If it's not a violation of the franchise, we don't have any general regulatory authority that occurs to me. Wes is right, we can look into it and consider it and see if there's something else we can do, but it doesn't occur to me.
I think, I mean, Jim is correct, in terms of the legal end of things. We, from time to time, will get complaints about, it's pretty rare, but we occasionally will get a complaint about the garbage service. And, we, in an effort to try and help serve citizens, will contact the garbage service. They've always been very responsive, really easy to work with. So we have some informal ability to at least talk to the right people to investigate. Usually, in the past, when I've dealt with service complaints from franchise holders, they're pretty eager to get on it, and they will investigate. Now, whether that would be true with Comcast, I don't know, but I completely agree with everything that Jim said.
That's it.
Okay, Ray?
First off, I'd just like to say thank you to the voters of Ward 2 for electing me, so I can now, once in my life, say I have been actually elected to something rather than appointed, so I'll try and fulfill that obligation. And to that extent, some folks have commented about a picture I have up here on the dais. I'm sorry about the colors, but that is what they are. It actually is a lame duck, and I am formally saying that I am a lame duck now. So you got 4 years and a couple of months to find a replacement, because the only promise I am going to make is I am not going to run the next time around. So 7+ years will be ample, and we've got plenty of time to set the stage for somebody else to have some fun. And I still am having a lot of fun. Thank you.
That's the same place Ralph Rock and Little Man was, isn't it?
Yes, it
It
does.
seems to be the demonstrative corner.
Well, we might have to have you think about that in that 4 years, so. Yeah, okay.
Teddy Roosevelt thought better of that after a while, when he made that promise one time.
Yeah.
Maybe I should say something like, read my lips.
Yeah.
Well,
You know how
that pretty much
that
made
worked for
sure
you.
that George H.W. Bush didn't get reelected, so,
You might still be having fun, and you'll continue, so yes. So, okay, Floyd?
No, thank you.
Okay, and I didn't this evening, and Wes, you did?
Yeah, just a couple of items. Our next meeting, our regular meeting of the council is next week. As I'm sure the council remembers, we're on holiday schedule, and I invited myself over to Lebanon to explain our sort of avoided cost study proposal that in an effort to try and help resolve some of the issues over the canal. They meet at 6 o'clock, and so I should be here for our council meeting, but I guess it just depends on when I'm scheduled and how long I'm there, so I'll be doing that on the 12th. And then just a reminder about the meeting on November 20th. This is the promised meeting with the Budget Committee that we talked about when they convened last June, or I guess it was May. That we would get together again when we had our revenue estimates and had property tax estimates, I should say. And we've gotten those, and I think a meeting would be appropriate, and want to get some guidance from the council and budget committee about putting the budget together this year. So we'll be doing that on the 20th.
Your meeting congenial with the Lebanon city manager?
Oh, yeah. The last meeting we had was good, so. And I mean, what I will say to the Lebanon Council is that they're doing what I think I would do if I were in their position, which is, wanting to find out what are our options and, what's the most responsible thing for us to do in terms of providing water to their citizens. And, our perspective, obviously, is that, we don't want our citizens to be subsidizing other users of this facility. And, there's a definite difference in perspective and an interest there, but it's not one that I believe it's one that we can reconcile and with some goodwill on both sides.
All right. I did think about one item, and since Chris Bailey is back there, because I see Mark's gone, could you check in on the lady that Mrs. Iverson on Knox Butte? She has a tree issue. Are you familiar with that?
I got the call too.
Yeah, I had 3 today. And so I told her that staff will be contacting her to kind of explain it. She claims it was city property behind her place, but on our info hub, it shows that it was the Brandis property, so might want to check in on that. Okay, thank you, Chris.
Mayor,
Yeah.
I'm going to seal the time capsule Friday. If it's going to need to go someplace, the back of my building is not the place that it's supposed to be, so.
So, any thoughts, Marilyn?
I was going to suggest that we put it in the vault.
Mm-hmm. I think it's a good idea.
How big is it?
It's
Oh, we could find room for that. For how long?
50 years.
Oh, well, until we
Time
have
capsule.
until we have a permanent place to put it.
Right.
We need a temporary place to put it till we have a permanent place to put it.
The vault, then. maybe.
Well, we could dig a hole right here. But
Well, we've had suggestions for permanent places to put it. Typically, those things are placed in cornerstones of public buildings.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
if we were only to build a public building soon.
there's that has been suggested.
Yeah.
But we
Okay.
could temporarily store
Store
it
it.
get it out of your hair and put it in the vault in a safe place,
Okay.
Great.
temporarily. Mary?
There is a little
pointed
room
that out
left in it
multiple
if someone has something that they would just love to put in there.
Uh-huh, yeah. Yep.
Do we have a time and location to meet for the trolley?
I was just going to bring that one up.
Okay.
Actually, they got back to us with the number, but it's like they didn't tell us where that number is going to be located. So I need to find out from tomorrow. And we're number 28, but where's
Good.
number
Good, good,
28
good.
staging at? So they didn't put down the staging. So it'll get, when I find out, I'll email it out to all of you, but also we'll be meeting on Monday, the day before, for a work session, and I'll know for sure by then. But, yeah, okay? All right, anything else? Does Staff have anything? So, okay, we have, yep, Kate? We're going to postpone that till maybe the next week. We'll see if we can get that, on that, yeah, okay?
Are you postponing the whole
Oh,
work
no,
session
not
or
the work
just
session,
that
just
item?
that agenda item, yeah, okay. All right, so next meeting is, work session is November 10th, regular session is November 12th, and a work session November 17th. So remember, we don't have our second Wednesday, or the second Wednesday of the month because of the holidays.
Meeting's on the 20th.
All right.
That's a
Okay,
Thursday.
with that, we are adjourned. Thank you, folks.